Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me on this wonderful journey that we are about to take. This is called the Moral Excellence in the Workplace, and our focus today is going to be the difference between character and personality. And so we are going to take some time to delve into that and to talk about what is meant by that. And what I want us to do, I will be sharing my screen with you. We're actually going to start right here. All right. So in today's world, employers are looking for people with character. They're not just looking for people who have a good personality. In every job wanted section of the classifieds, you'll notice that even before experience, employers request positive character from prospective employers, looking for responsible, caring workers, hard workers with a positive work ethic needed, are examples of the ads that you come across. So in this chapter, you're going to learn that people with positive character, possessing traits like self-control, respect, honesty are what make healthy, productive work environments and successful businesses. Character is the combination of morals and beliefs that dictate how we treat others, our environment, and ourselves. It's the means by which we distinguish right from wrong. And so, but as important as character is, personality can easily obscure both a positive and negative character. Personality is the combination of personal preferences, qualities, attitudes, likes, dislikes of an individual. Our personality is what we take on the job. It's that warm smile, it's the handshake, it's the pressed suit. It all says we are here to impress. But any employer that's smart is going to do a background check and also is going to do a personal and professional reference check to find out what is the character behind the person. Personality can be very much a front appearance, but it's really what is behind that front. So when we consider the harm that can come from mistaking a pleasant personality with a positive character, we can clearly see the importance of learning the difference between the two for the betterment and safety of our work environments. And so that is one thing about this workshop, is that while we're going to be focusing on the individual characteristic traits and us as individuals, we're always going to keep at the back of our minds that everything that we do is going to affect the larger community and the larger business world. And so our actions affect everything else that happens in that business or that work environment. So it's not just about us. So today what we are going to learn about, we're going to recognize the difference between right and wrong. We're going to improve our employee decision-making skills. We're going to improve the quality of living by becoming the best each individual can be and motivating others to do the same. And we can create better interpersonal skills between employees and clients. And we will create a more unified team within the workplace. Again, if everyone on your team is trying to be a good character and have moral principles and are guided by those, then the workplace, you're going to see more productivity, you're going to see more happiness, you're going to just see all of these things, and people are going to be working together better. So first I want you to go ahead and take a few minutes to complete the pre-assessment. That would have been emailed to you, so if you'll go ahead and take that pre-assessment, that would be great. That's just our way of knowing between the beginning of the class to the end, how much have you gained in your knowledge. All right, so today we're going to focus on what character is and how it's developed. We're going to discuss the process of someone interviewing for a job position and how character plays into that. First impressions are important, but first impressions, we don't keep those up all the time. So it's important to have that solid character so that when so that we have a true presentation of ourselves. So here's an ad for you. And I want you to pick out the words that are character traits. We need responsible, caring people to work with the elderly. Only apply if you have flexible work hours, safe driving record. You must also be willing to work under stress, showing patience and compassion. So out of that ad, what would you say are the character traits that this employer is looking for? If you said patient, compassionate, able to work under stress, caring, loving, responsible, then you are correct. So now we are going to summarize our key points from this lesson. And what I want you to take away from this So this is just a little bit more of reiteration of our curriculum today. So I want you to go ahead and take a couple minutes to go ahead and read this for yourself. So we're going to learn what character is and the importance of developing a positive character in the workplace. We're also going to learn how to change any of our character traits that we do not like or that we maybe lack. So maybe it's more not changing something, but more gaining something. We're also going to understand the importance of having a good character and knowing how our negative character traits as well as our positive character traits affect our workplace. So I'll let you go ahead and read the rest of this. Right. Excuse me. So here's another way to look at this. Character is the combination of morals and beliefs that dictate how we treat others, our environment, and ourselves. It's the basis on which our every thought, action, and decision are derived. Furthermore, it is the means by which we distinguish between right and wrong. For example, an honest person is one who can be trusted not to steal. Every facet of society will benefit from people who are honest. Therefore, character defines a universal code of conduct necessary for all people. So they have depicted it here as a house. The characters are foundation. It's the basis on which everything is built. Personality is the combination of personal preferences, qualities, attitudes, likes, dislikes of an individual. An example of this would be the type of hobbies you like, whether you like sports, dance, art, style of dress, fashion, type of music you like to listen to, various cuisines you prefer, as well as countless other qualities. All of these things make up your personality. So just like paint and flowers make a house unique, so too does a personality make each person different from the next. So if you drive in a suburb, you'll see that every house is the same, right? However, and so that would be the foundation of that neighborhood. They're going for a certain look, they're going for a certain atmosphere, a certain feel, and the foundation of that suburb gives you a certain sense of what kind of life one would live in the suburb, right? But each individual house looks different. So you have a house with shrubs in front of it. You have a house that's painted differently. You have those are all the personality of the individuals that are coming out. So always think of this as a house. Are you talking about your foundation, or are you talking about the paint color? And it's this combination of the foundation and the personality traits that make each of us unique and valuable individuals. But on the flip side, we also need to know that that plays a big role in the people around us as well. So, all right, so now we're going to move on to moral values. And moral values clearly distinguish character from personality. And right here, you can see that our values are the principles or qualities we consider to be important or worthwhile. So when I've had you look over your Excite assessment, I've had you look for those key attributes. I've had you look for those key characteristics. And I always tell you, these become your values. They're true about you no matter what, in no matter what situation. These are the things that you can always come back to. So some values pertain to what we want to accomplish in life and what we consider beautiful. There are also personal values such as hygiene and appearance, as well as music and art. What we value comes from several sources. First and foremost, we're our teachers, our guardians, our parents. Those are our first teachers. The things we value largely in part to how they influenced us. So the sum of our values, you'll hear people say our value system. So our value system is the means by which we rank or prioritize the things that are important to us. How we prioritize our values is the basis by which many of our decisions are made. Not just as no two people are exactly alike, no two people have the same exact system of values. So what I want you to do now is we're going to look at a list of values, and I want you to rank those in your importance from 1 to 12. And this is your list. And I want you to go ahead and rank those 1 through 12 in the order. And so this might be 12, this might be 1, and then 3, 4. So it's just going to look, the numbers are going to be all over, and that's to be expected. So go ahead, take a few minutes, rank these from 1 to 12. 1 is most important and 12 is least important. Now, as you finish that up, so these are our values, but there's also another kind of value, and that would be the moral values. So we're going to take a look at those next. And there are 3 basic categories of morality: behavior and attitude towards all life, behavior and attitude towards possessions and property, and behavior and attitude towards the environment. So the first one, all life, this is saying that moral principles in regards to people's lives mean that you acknowledge and accept that all life is valuable and that all people, regardless of their ethnicity, their religion, or gender, have the right to live and work in safety and have the potential to contribute to society. So these are standards of living, and these are moral values. Our second one here is that everyone has the right to own their belongings without fear of it being stolen, vandalized, or destroyed. And then our third one is towards the environment, that we all have a responsibility to care for our immediate environment and for the world around us. And so that immediate environment includes our house, our workplace, our car, our the sidewalk that we walk on, the park that we go play in. It's everything that we touch. And having morals is an important way to define your character. Moral values set boundaries that help an individual demonstrate appropriate behaviors towards self and others. So a good way to look at this is moral values tell us what's right and what's wrong. So if someone is stealing from you, you would say that would be wrong because it goes against this moral value of everyone has the right to own and possess materials without it being stolen. So that's what moral values are. They tell us right from wrong. Whereas our values that we ranked from 1 to 12, that's what we kind of base our whole life on. So our character is a combination of these. They're a combination of our moral values that we've been taught. They're values that include our work ethic, our education, hobbies, and so on. In addition to our values, your interactions with others and their influences also help to mold and shape your character, making you the person you are today. So by all means, everything that we experience in life shapes us, and we form beliefs on every interaction that we come across. So now we're going to take a moment here and we are going to do a concept quiz. I want you to go ahead and answer these true or false. When they're false, I want you to define or explain your answer. And there are only 9 questions, so these are the last of the questions. And on number 9, while there are 3 basic categories to morality, I would like you to list out what those are. And your answer for that last one should be just lost my train of thought there. We have our value, or our moral value, is that we have a positive behavior and attitude towards all life, that all people have the right to have possessions that are not stolen, and the environment. All right, so now what we are going to do is we're going to look at what are positive characteristics and what are negative characteristics. And then we're going to look internally and say, what are things that I want to change? What am I lacking? What do I want to become better at? And what do I not want to what do I want to change and what do I want to get rid of? And not only are we just going to talk about what those are, but we're going to talk about how to do that. So your character is made up of many different qualities. They're called character traits. And so the key to having a moral character is to develop positive character traits. When you demonstrate these traits on a consistent basis, you'll be known as a person of integrity. People have moral character show by their actions and attitudes that they care about themselves, others, and the environment. Again, going back to those 3 moral values that guide our entire world. So let's look at these positive character traits. Educated. Don't talk about a topic that you don't know anything about. Respectful, being patient, trustworthy, humble, thankful. And this can go a long ways. Using manners with our family and our friends and our coworkers is important. Saying please, saying thank you, saying you're welcome, those go a long, long ways. Being forgiving, being steadfast, persistent, these are all characteristics, positive characteristics. Self-control, compassion, considerate, and responsible. Now, responsible, I once heard an employer say that they didn't want to see the word responsible on any sort of resume because it only meant that you were responsible to do something. It does not mean that you have actually done the action that they were requesting of you. So maybe you are responsible for taking minutes at meetings, but did you really take the minutes? All right. So now we're going to go to the flip side of this, and we're going to look at the negative characteristics. Uneducated, disrespectful, impatient, dishonest, untrustworthy, arrogant, envious, selfish, hateful, aggressive, lacking self-control, pessimistic, revengeful, irresponsible. So as you can see, these are the flip side of those. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to define, there's two exercises here that we're going to do. First, we're going to identify the characteristics that we are. We're going to talk about why are those important to me, why are those important to the people around I work with, and how do they affect the overall world. And then our second exercise is going to be the negative characteristics that we want to change. Where is the negative characteristic coming from, and what is it leading to? And then in this exercise, then you can figure out, well, how am I going to change that? So let's first start with list the positive character traits that you would like to achieve or improve upon. So I'm going to give you my example. My example is patience, and I would like to work on being patient. I am not an overly patient person. I certainly have become more patient as life has gone on. But so how can developing these traits help to improve your personal life? Well, being patient can help me to slow down, hear everything that is around me, see everything that is around me, and evaluate situations more effectively. How can being patient help me to improve my professional life? I can learn to give people time. Again, it comes down to just allowing enough time for people, recognizing that not everyone works at the same pace as I do or at the same method as I do, and so being able to appreciate those differences I think will help me to be a better coworker and more approachable. And what are some ways you can develop these traits? To develop patience, I can learn to stop, think of options, and then proceed with the appropriate option or the appropriate response. One of the other things I was thinking about is that I can ask myself, do I need the answer now? Can my answer wait? And so in that, so if I send someone an email, do I need to have the answer today, or is it okay if they email me tomorrow? If I need it today, then I need to communicate that, because then they will know that, yes, this does have a deadline on it. So, so I want you to take a little bit of time to fill this out. And so these are the 3 steps to creating a positive You consider why you want to obtain that certain positive character. List all the ways achieving that positive character trait will improve your life. And then evaluate all the ways achieving that positive trait will greatly improve the lives of your coworkers, family, and friends. So just as I've done for you. So I'm going to let you take a few minutes to fill that out. Now we're going to go over to the negative traits. None of us are can escape from this. We all have negative traits about ourselves, and it's just who we are. But what is important is to find out, where do those traits come from? Why? What is the cause? What's the root problem of this? And then we want to look at, how does it affect others? I think when we understand how it's affecting others and affecting us indirectly, then it's, we will be able to change that behavior. So we're going to go down here to this chart. Okay, so what we're going to do here, we're going to list the negative trait, you're going to list the cause, and then the effect. So my negative trait is impatience. And the cause of that is because my personality is just, not even personality, I'm just hardwired for perfection and for controlling things. And so the cause of me always needing to control things and always needing everything to be perfect creates this impatience in me. And the effects that I've noticed is that it definitely makes me come off as grouchy. I can be rude, I can be short with people, and overall, obviously, people don't want to work with me as a result, or they get very frustrated with me, and vice versa. So what I do now is, as soon as I feel that impatience, I quickly evaluate and say, is this just because something's not going exactly the way I had it planned? Is this not perfect like I would want it to be? And then how am I communicating that out? And what I've been able to do is, when I am feeling those feelings of impatience, I can explain myself and just say, oh, this is not going the way that I thought it would. I have a strong desire for perfection. I know life is not perfect. And when I share those feelings with the people around me, they quickly understand, and we quickly laugh about how nothing's perfect in life, and we quickly move on. But it's taken me a couple of years to figure out, where does my impatience come from. Once I knew that, then it was easy to work around it. So take some time again, list the negative trait, put the cause down, and list the effects of that. And in knowing the effects of it, that's where then you can take it back to the previous exercise and say, okay, how am I going to change this? So here are the steps to changing those negative characteristics. Set your mind in advance to decide you want to eliminate a negative character trait. I personally just hate that I am so impatient. So I've really made a concerted effort to make sure that I'm working on that. Focus on practicing self-control in all situations. This means you have to be prepared ahead of time to deal with a situation when it comes up, prepared to stop, think, and consider your actions. I have a method by which, when I'm feeling impatient, I will either clench my toes or just squeeze my fists, and it just helps me to just think, like, slow down, take a deep breath, think, and really look at the situation before I share that feeling of impatience. Think of others. It's not all about you. Get used to it. It's not all about you. Remember, 2 wrongs never make a right. How many times have we said that to our kids? But it's very, very true. Have confidence in your own abilities. It's okay to be confident, and we need to be confident, and we need to be confident that we can change and be the person that we want to be. Stop for a moment. Consider the consequences of your actions. That's one of the main reasons why I talk it out with whomever I'm feeling impatient about, because I know that once I share that, they will understand, like, okay, either they need the change, I need the change, something needs to change. And maybe it doesn't. Maybe we just need to have a dialogue about it. But by stopping and considering the consequences of my actions, it definitely helps eliminate negative outcomes. Find appropriate outlets for your frustrations. Number 8, look for a solution in every situation you are struggling with. And number 9, keep trying and trying and trying. You're never going to handle every situation perfectly. You aren't ever going to get it right the first time, or maybe you get it right the first time, but the second time it doesn't go so well. Just keep trying and trying and trying. When I look at my patience level from a year ago to now, I can say it definitely has improved, but it's also been trying, and I've had to keep it in the forefront of my mind. So, okay. So how does personality affect the workplace? Well, it's easy to confuse personality and character. So let's take a look at this personality, because it can also tell us about who we are. Remember, personality is made up of the behavioral traits that are unique to individual. Personality is a combination of our feelings, our attitudes, our preferences. It's the basis by which you choose to interact with each other. For example, when you first meet someone, you notice if they smile when you say hello. You may notice if they're humorous, serious, outgoing, or shy. You also will notice what kind of hobbies or education they might have. Our work relationships are strengthened by similarities in our personalities. And shared likes will usually motivate coworkers to get to know each other better and can help them to work together more efficiently. However, we cannot be too quick to judge someone's personality. The person who's quiet and reserved could appear to be conceited. The person who's talkative and frank might appear to be rude or aggressive. It's important to take the time to get to know others in order to appreciate who they are. Differences in personalities can cause serious conflicts in the workplace. But if we are open and honest with each other, and we share what our personality types are and we talk about them, we can eliminate a lot of heartaches and a lot of assumptions. If you are a quiet, well-organized individual and you work with the complete opposite, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Do you tidy up after yourself in the break room while others leave their spilled drinks and garbage on the table? And this is where having that character of this is where having moral values of others' properties, and our environment is important, because if we are caring about the environment around us and everybody in our workplace does that, and everybody has that moral value, there won't be a dirty break room. There won't be a messy microwave, because everyone will just take it upon themselves to clean up after themselves. So that's why it's important that all of us are attuned to what the moral values are and make sure that we're doing those things. But working in an environment where personalities are opposite can be a challenge, and if handled inappropriately, can often cause resentment and hostilities. Personality clashes in the workplace can result in character clashes as well. The quiet, neat, organized person who has to work next to the loud, disorganized individual may just blow up one of those days at that person. Very uncharacteristic of them. However, their environment around them brought that out. But again, if that coworker was conscientious and was guided by the moral value of others and their environment, they would have been conscientious and they would have taken into consideration the other person's personality and maybe not been so loud, maybe not been so messy, and therefore that person's character she would have not acted contrary. So it's very, very important that we learn to work together peacefully, and also accepting and tolerating the differences in others. You can't just say, oh, well, it is what it is. That doesn't work, because you will bring about problems with that kind of attitude. And then also we need to learn how to use effective, respectful communication to alleviate some of these tensions that arise due to conflict personalities. So what's your personality? First, I want you to go ahead and circle all the ones that are common to you. Who are you? What? Excuse me, sorry for the yawns. Circle the personality traits that describe you. And then I want you to look for the personality traits you look in others. You can list 3 of them. List 3 personality traits you like in others. And list 3 personality traits you dislike in others. And when I did the live version of this, it was funny because the 2 guys that were participating pretty much had the same answers. And their answers were, oh, I got ahead of myself, excuse me. Are there any personality traits that you have that can be a problem for others? List them below and tell why. And one of those was talkative. And we were sharing how, some of us can talk for hours on a subject and it could absolutely drive another person crazy. I had another customer who shared that being quiet can cause a problem for others because either they can't hear him or they just think that he's unengaged, uninterested, which may not be the case at all. So when we know what personality traits we like in others and the ones that we don't like, then we can also take control of that and we can work towards knowing how to respond to that. So if I know that I hate having a messy desk, but I work with a coworker that's like that, I have a choice to make. I can either ignore it, I can address it with her, or I can give her tips or, whatever it's going to be, but it's my choice on how I'm going to react to that. So looking beyond personality, although personality is important how we get along with others, it does not dictate the measure of a person's true character. Keep in mind that the personality is what we notice right away, but it's important that we get to know them so that we know what their character is. So while she may be a sloppy roommate, what type of person really is she? She may have the biggest heart out of anyone we know. She may donate to charities. She may go out of her way to help her coworkers. But if I chose to get bent out of shape on her messy desk, shame on me, because I'm going to miss out on who the real person is. I'm going to miss out on her character. Our personality, remember, is the surface. The character is the foundation. So character defines the way we treat ourselves and the way we treat others. It dictates your moral and ethical beliefs. So take time to learn about that other person, to find out about someone's character. Observe them while you're making a moral decision. How do they respond to the situation? For example, does your coworker usually have something negative to say about others, or is she constantly rude to customers? In the workplace environment, you have to look past personality to recognize both positive and negative character traits. The qualities that determine character are based upon the choices we make. It's up to us to recognize that these choices will, over time, establish a pattern of behavior. This pattern shows we have a tendency to act in a specific way. The important thing to remember is that each choice we make concerning how we treat ourselves, others, and the environment determines the traits that we will develop. So again, making those choices and how we're going to react to our environment and to others around us is extremely important. And keeping in mind what our character is, but also keeping in mind what moral values are, helps us make the right decisions. So the way that we are interviewed for a job is evidence that character and personality are vital to the workplace. It's important to learn about your character so that we can foster pleasant and productive work environments. Again, like I was saying, with that example of the messy desk, if I never take the time to find out who that true individual is and what her character is, I'm going to miss so many positive things. And I'm going to just foster negativity and foster negative energy and foster this negative attitude. And negativity does not produce results. And so it's important that we're always looking at how can we be positive, how can we be part of the solution, and more importantly, how do we also not only improve our character, but help others around us improve their character and maintain their character. So over the course of the week, I want you to go back and I want you to complete the negative characteristic exercise, this one right here. And I also want you to work on this exercise, developing your positive character. So the expectation is that you'll have those two exercises done for our next class, which will be Monday at 12:30. And we won't go over them as a class, your answers, and nor will I pick them apart individually. However, though, I do want to ensure that you are doing the coursework, as it's important, because if you're not going to do the coursework and you're not going to delve into this and really take it to heart, it's never going to make a change in your life. Even as I went through it to prepare and teach for the class, I found things that I need to work on. So, all right, thank you very much for joining us today. I do hope that you learned something, and I look forward to seeing you next week.